Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. So we've got a new month. Let's hope that March is a lovely month with lots of ups and less downs. Now the fact that we've got a new month, we have a challenge at Lavinia, and every month the winner's chosen at random, which is always good, and they can win a £40 voucher to spend at Lavinia. Now all the details are on the website, so pop along there and have a look. Now this month's challenge is Animal Magic. So I thought today I'd come along with this design, and it's my interpretation of animal magic. And for me, I've got our beautiful unicorn here, Talia, and she is looking adoringly at Pipin. He's looking back, and look, it just happens that Mini Jinx has just decided he's going to hitch a ride with our lovely unicorn. Now, you might choose different stamps. It might just give you an idea, but honestly, I would love you to enter the challenge. Now, I'm going to start with VersaFine Clair. It's a permanent ink, so it's lovely for stamping. And we're coming in with the black, the Nocturne. Now, Talia is quite a sizable stamp look, so I'm just going to put plenty of ink on. But don't press your ink pad too hard. You're better to do lots of light taps than pressing it down. So I'm just going to put, and we just want this off centre sort of here. And again, always keep one hand on your acrylic block, just gentle pressing, and the same here, sort of gentle but firm. And because it's a silhouette stamp, I'm just going to give it a good press down and then lift it up. There we go. So beautiful. And then to our little characters. So we'll come in with Pipin first. And it's really good because with them facing each other. But honestly, we've got so many fabulous animal stamps. I was spoilt for choice. So my head might come in because I just want to put Pipin there looking up. And again, we'll just wait a couple of seconds, just let that ink soak into the card and then lift up. So then for our mini Jinx, hitching a ride. Now, if you don't want to pop him on, leave it without. And again, I'm just going to put my head over just so that I can put him there. I'd just like to add a fun little piece to a design. I think it's just lovely to have something to make us smile. And then for our mini hill masks. So we get 3 of these. And we're going to start with the straighter one. And for me, I just find it easier to turn my work sideways. And again, you get used to your own ways. There's not a definite right or a definite wrong. We just get used to certain things. Elements ink, so these are a dye-based ink, so these are perfect. You can stamp with them, but I tend to use them more for blending, for backgrounds. They react with water, but again, you can use them for as many things. Fabulous on the gel press, Lavinia stencil brush, and I always blend in the lid. 2 reasons. 1, it helps blend the ink on your brush, but 2, it eliminates having too much on to start off with, especially if it's a new ink pad. I always say, ladies and gentlemen, you will know your ink pads. When they're new, they're extremely juicy. Some of mine I've used so much that I've used them that much they're ready for. I need to treat myself to a couple of new ones. I don't even go in the lid because I know I've got very little ink left on there. But in general, I would always recommend blending in the lid. So we're going to pop the mask above where we want it, and we're going to add the colour underneath. So I want to catch all 4 feet and Pipin's bottom if I can. Just to almost plant them all. So I think that's a good angle. And I'm just going to start on the mask and almost flick the colour off. I'll get some more in the lid, and when I always start under an object. So if this was a tree, or I'm going to use the unicorn, because when I start I've got more ink on, and sometimes, especially a new ink pad, it can be very dark. But if it's darker there, it will just look like it's shadow. So that's the best tip I can give you. And then I'm just going to go right along to add a nice bit of colour along the whole. If I want to check what it looks like, look, I can hold this here, lift it up. There we go. I'm happy with that. To wipe them, I've just got a damp cloth here and then a dry cloth. And I always wipe mine before I put them away. And then I know next time I get them out, they'll be ready to use. They won't have ink that will contaminate. So I want some gentle hills next. So maybe we'll go for this one. When you come to this stage, bear in mind, you don't want to just put it down and add ink, because look, we don't want to chop Pipin's neck off. It just wouldn't look right. So if I just angle that slightly, look, that works better. Now, I'm not going to add any more ink. And I'm just going to gently add, I've got plenty of ink left on my brush. But also what you'll find is it will be lighter because you haven't re-inked, and that will help with perspective, because the lighter things are, that gives good for distance. And again, I'm just going round, lift that off, I'll turn it round so you can see, and we'll give that a wipe to put that away. So I need one more, and again, just play around, having a look. So again, I've got to be, that's a bit close there. I don't like that. I'm thinking, could go across and again move it. What you can do, what I might do is I'm actually just going to add a little bit of a hill there. And again, no more ink because it's lighter. And I'm going to do them independently. Add a little bit of colour underneath. And then I'm just going to add a hill this side. Like this. And again, no more ink because I want it paler. And there we've got. So you can use part of your mask at a time. And those, as soon as I've finished, I put them back in the container so I know, keep them together. So that was olive. We're going to add some sky now, and this we're going to use mermaid. And our circle masks for this. And I've got a little dot of yellow Posca on mine. It's dry, just helps me locate it, because with the mask being see-through, I do tend to lose them a lot. Now, one of the reasons I'm popping the moon mask over here, look, I've got that nice shape, and it's just coming off the page there. If I put it here, I don't think that looks nice because the shape of the hill there. And I always recommend turn your work upside down. Again, blend off on the lid, because when we first start, I'm going to start at the base of the moon. And if I've got too much ink on and it's quite dark, I want it dark at the base, so that's fine. It's just, again, another good habit to get into. And I'm just going to go all the way around. I tend to leave a little bit of a border. I don't worry about where the land and the sky meet. I don't want them to overlap, but I quite like a little white border. It looks very effective. So if I turn that round, and as I say, that was mermaid. And then I'm going to bring in a little bit of confetti. Sorry, excuse me. And I'm just going to wipe the moon mask. You know what my throat's like? Every so often it decides to just play up. And put the moon mask straight back in. And if you do that, you've less chance of losing it. Now with the confetti, I just want to add some lovely, if I bring the finished piece in, look, these lovely pink tones to the sky, just for sort of a magical and sort of atmosphere. So I'm going to start in the corner and just bring some pink in. Again, not too much. I've blended it on the lid. And I'm actually going to go right across the moon, look. And I just think it's, when you look at the sky, it's not very often just blue, is it? I mean, I know we have clouds, but often there are so many other colour tones in it. doing cards, especially my Lavinia cards, it has made me look at the sky more. And I just love that look. I just think it gives it a bit more atmosphere. Now, it won't show up very well under the lights, but believe me, honestly, there's a little bit of pink there. I don't want it to be too bright. And then I'm just going to give my mat a bit of a wipe. Just want to keep it as clean as possible. Then we'll add a little bit more stamping. So with your hills, it's easy, as you can see, to build a scene up just by using your hills, your colour. Again, a couple of colours of ink. If you've just started off, you don't need a lot of products to build a scene. And the next thing I tend to do is look and add some foliage at the base. And I'm going to start off with this lovely stamp, and this is from the Forest Moss. And for my foliage base and top, I'm going to come in with two colours. And I'm going to use Shady Lane, or Shady Lady, as we love to call her. It's just such a lovely green colour. And I'm going to stamp this first. And I'm using first and second generation. And I just almost want to clump. Because obviously things in nature, they do grow in clumps, don't they? So just to make it look realistic, we want some first and second generation. And we've just got some lovely clumps there. I'm not going to overdo it. And again, I'm going to give that a wipe. And then just to fill the little spaces. And when I said I was going to use two colours, I'm going to come in with the black again. Because we've got stamping here, it looks nice to add a little bit of black here. And if you're not sure what I mean, when you do this design, take a photograph at this stage and then add the black and take the photograph. Or stamp half up and you'll be surprised the difference. So this is the little fern from the Woodland Ferns. And it just brings, if I add some black, can you see it brings the black into the whole design, but it also adds depth here. The black is now at the front and the perspective, we've pushed that green stamping further back. It all builds up, not only perspective, but that lovely cohesive design. And I don't want to overcook it with these ferns. I think just one more up here. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Similar thing at the top. This time the first stamp I'm going to come in with is the time stamp. And I love this. It really reminds me, I've been demonstrating a lot with it recently, and it does remind me of fireworks. So in the green again, I'm going to come in and I'm going to first add some focal stamping. I love it when you stamp sort of over where the moon is. Then I want to stamp from the corners just to frame the design. And it's just that combination of first and second generation. And what I love about this is we're not necessarily using it as a herb. I know it's a herb, but I'm using it as a lovely hanging floral. And I think it's just beautiful for that. So light and delicate. As I say, definitely got firework vibes for me. And then on top of that, I'm coming in with a little stamp off the vine set. I want a silhouette stamp when I was looking to bring in that black stamping. So again, if you look at the design now, and then we'll add a little bit with the black and you can see the difference. So just going to add a little bit here, and then I'm going to come in the corners. And I don't want to overcook it. So I tend to stop, have a look, and I think I definitely need one more down this side. That frames it better. I don't want to, I like that space there. So what I'm going to do is stamp that there. So we've got a nice section here and that's just left here. Again, happy with that. I don't want to overdo it. So once again, we'll give that all a blot. And they're just steps in ways of, again, I always say it's like a recipe, and if you can get these steps, it really helps. Now, last little thing with the inks, I'm going to come in with Midnight Blue. And I just want to frame the design a little bit more. So I'm going to come in, and again, this time I'm not going into the lid because I've used quite a lot of this colour and I want it quite dark. But if yours is a new ink pad, please always go in the lid, because you know, if you add too much ink, you could spoil it at this point. Once I've added the corners, just a little bit along the base, and again, turn it round. This just adds atmosphere, but also helps to frame the whole design. Turn it round. And you'll get your own little routine of how to do this. And as I say, how your ink pads are, what the colour tones are like. So at this stage, I'm just going to look. We need a little bit more down that side. And then a little bit more in each corner. That bottom corner. Yeah. So once again. Now, if you like your smooshing, remember you can clean your mat by smooshing onto card. I just need a quick clean up. You know me, can't work in a dirty space. Now, once we've got the design like this, it's that time to play. It's those finishing touches. So, soft pastel pencils. And first of all, I'm going to come in with the yellow. And I'm just going to add some yellow pastel. Just to cover, I nearly said mainly where the mane is. That sounds so wrong. Just where Talia's beautiful mane flows. And then with my finger, I'm going to smudge it. Two things. It fills that area with colour, but also it'll just set the pastel. I don't need to set it with anything else. Don't need a spray fixative because I've not done a large area. And that's just my background colour. Then I'm going to come in with my Signo, my Jelly Roll pen, the Uniball one, and this is the bronze. And what I find by doing it like this, I don't have to go over every single strand. I can just use the bronze, the gel pen, for the highlights. And I just find for me, I love to do it with the two together. I love that combination. But again, however you want to add these lovely strands, these beautiful locks. And again, I don't want to overdo it. We'll have one more. And with the white, I'm going to come in. Now, often we think about light and shade. So in theory, I'm going to have the moon here, and it's going to give me some lovely highlights on the back of our lovely Jinx. So that's all I'm going to do. And again, Talia's back here. But what I am going to do, I just want to add a little, just to give a little bit of shape. So I tend to use the white for highlights, but also for me, I like to give my animal shape. So I'm thinking sort of that leg would just come round there. And here we'd have this leg here. And then a little bit of shape under the jaw. So as I say, although this area would probably be in shadow, the highlight would be up here, but I'm just adding a little bit just to help for me. I think it just helps give a little bit of shape. So it's two things really. Now, again, if you like using your gel pen, you can use your gel pen for this. Gel pen doesn't work for me. Our Mona uses it fabulously. It just doesn't work for me. And again, it shows we're all different. So however you like to add your highlights, you go ahead. For me, the softness of the pastel pencil, and that's just enough for me. And then with the black, I'm going to come in and add a little bit of shadow. And again, it's amazing the difference for this. Again, the moon's there, so Pipin will have some shadow here and it'll sort of come in this direction. And then we'll have a little bit under Talia here. And again, sort of behind, so it'll probably just come straight down. So if I just give that a bit of a smudge. And I don't want to overdo it with just enough, just to give it that little, just makes it look that bit more realistic. We'll pop those away. And then in the background here, I want a little bit of sort of our faux bleaching, as you can see in the finished one. Again, if you don't like this, leave it off. I just think it gives a little bit more atmosphere. So fan brush, which has been in my water pot, and I'm just going to carefully add it, especially around the edge. And then just let that, and while that's doing its work, I'm going to get ready. I've got my Posca, the yellow sparkle, as you know I love this, and I'm also going to add a little bit of our Stickles Glitter Glue, and this is Seafoam, a lovely green. So just going to give, because I don't want the faux bleaching very much, I'm just going to give that a bit of a dab, and then I can come in with my Seafoam. Now often, as you know, I paint this on, but here I actually want it on those beautiful thyme. So I'm going to be a bit of a dot and dab. I think I'm a bit of a plasterer really. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to dot it on, and then with my finger I'm just going to dab. And I need to do this before I put the Posca. So always with your finishing touches, think about, and again, a little bit on the green here. Now, as I say, if it spits, it doesn't matter because I'm dotting and dabbing. As you know, it has terrible wind, Stickles, you know. So again, just come in here and give it a lovely dab. Just on the green, some dotting and dabbing. There we go, lovely. So the process, the way I like to do it, is my Stickles, and then the finishing touch is the Posca. Again, if you want to leave your Posca off, I just think it adds, the whole theme of this is animal magic. And so for me, shake, I'm going to hold it close, and then I can just direct, and I just want it over the foliage here, look. Around here and over the foliage here. And obviously I put this on last because I don't want to be touching this. I want to leave this to dry. And hopefully if we go all the way around, we can miss our lovely animals. Right, lid back on there. And then bring that up to show you. So I'm hoping that's just highlighted a few of the little processes that go into creating a design like this. So I do hope that you enter the challenge. I hope you have fun creating a design, and I'd love you to share it because again, you will inspire each other. And if you're having an off day, it might just help. So you take care. Love and hugs from me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.